of the three people vying for this position, what makes you the best choice? If the voters are concerned about corruption, the three of you probably are on the same plane, that you haven't been involved in that kind of activity.
Right.
So what makes you the natural choice?
Well, I think that one of the things we want to look at out of the three of us, we had a debate the other night at King's College, and this is a Democratic primary, and two of my opponents identified themselves as one as being the Republican in the race, and the other one being the quasi-Republican. Well, I am here to tell you that I am the Democrat in the race, and what that means is something that I think that Ed Rendell said the other day. It's almost as if Democrats who have been the party of government service have had to apologize or kind of gone into hiding. I think that there are things that government can do for people. It can provide certain opportunities. It can provide opportunities like what's going on in Nanticoke with the downtown revitalization. It can provide opportunities like we're working toward in Plymouth, the revitalization of that downtown. And there's a project on Main Street in Edwardsville, actually a cooperative project on one side, Edwardsville, on the other side, Kingston, where there's been a decision to do some redevelopment. And those are things that, while we would love to have private developers do that, sometimes, government is the organization that can get it done and get it moving. And I think that those are some of the things that, are very important to me. I think that there truly is a place for government to do certain things. It's not meant to do everything. It needs to be limited in its scope. But we have a situation where the Nanticoke Housing Authority is actually engaged in a program of buying homes that are foreclosed upon and trying to get them back in shape and on the market as fast as possible. I think that's a good use. Nobody likes a foreclosed property which the owner, being the bank or trust company or something like that, may not really be paying attention to in their neighborhood. And I think that that's something, that's a situation where government is good. Government provides, public education. I think that those are key areas. We have probably one of the more unusual districts in the country in the fact that in Nanticoke you can go from kindergarten to your associate's degree all on the same street. That's a fantastic thing, and like I said, I believe it's rare in America to have that opportunity. So I think that those are the things that I'm committed to. I'm committed to funding education, basic education, to the level that we've promised, not to the level that we've allowed it to get to. I'm also committed to reforming the tax system. I think that we need seriously to review our tax system and make some fundamental changes. I think that what we need to do is move toward, certainly reducing, if not eliminating, the property tax. Look for other alternatives. Too often, the property tax has become the tax of last resort. I believe that we should also explore a graduated income tax. We may need a constitutional amendment to do those things. I would be in favor of a constitutional convention in order to do that. I believe that the flat income tax that we have is punitive to people who may work part-time, working seniors, because it's a tax that starts from $1. I think similar to the federal tax system, that we can allow some levels and different rate categories to make sure that we're not punishing students or working seniors or part-time workers and still be able to fund the government. Finally, I think that what we need to do is explore opportunities for school districts to institute maybe a personal income tax as opposed to the property tax, because what happens is those of us who are working probably need to share a little bit more of the burden. It's a trade-off. I believe that if we were forgiven our property taxes, that we wouldn't mind paying a little bit more in income taxes. And more importantly, I have a lot of people that I've met who are retired. We talked about them a few minutes ago. The fact that there is not a magic pot of money. We have a situation that is coming upon us next year, the pension crisis in Pennsylvania, that was brought in part by, or in large part by the state legislature. This crisis is going to require a funding of $5 billion in order to restore the pension system. That pension system goes to office holders, to teachers, and to state workers. The teachers and the state workers pay into that system. There is no time when you're going to see that pension benefit for those folks to be outrageous. I will tell you, there are times, and we know it as well by reading the paper, that the level of pensions for the political class sometimes are outrageous. Senator Mello's pension is going to be almost $300,000. You know, nobody in this room is going to have that advantage unless you spent 40 years in government and had the caps removed, and that was all of that was done in 2001. I think what we need to do is we need to seriously look at the idea of rolling back pensions for the legislature. We need to look at the cost of running the legislature, and I would also be in favor of as part of that constitutional convention that looks at property taxes. I believe we need to look at the size of the legislature as well. Clearly, you know, we have not, the members of the State House and State Senate have not gotten around to doing that. You know, I think that we need to have a discussion to be able to do that, and maybe the, you know, if the House and the Senate don't have the courage to do it, maybe our citizens do.
Do you have any idea how you would do that? Any suggestions on the size of the legislature?
I think what we need to do is we have to recognize that, and I'm not sure the numbers, I have not done the math on the state Senate side, but we have 203 state representatives in Pennsylvania. And what happens is it works out to roughly about, each would represent about 55,000 people. You know, we may need to look at expanding that base. Therefore eliminating, you know, removing that number from 203 to whatever number we find to be comfortable as a result of, you know, I think a good study. The reality is that in the city of Philadelphia or the city of Pittsburgh, you may have state representatives who literally represent city blocks. You know, I would represent several communities. You know, I don't know that we would lose, you know, the connection to our constituents if we were representing 75,000 people or 110,000 people. You know, thereby reducing the size of the State House to maybe 150 to maybe 100. It would obviously save a great deal in the cost of running the State House, and you know, we certainly could probably do that as well with the State Senate.
I understand that obviously we reduce the size, we reduce the cost, but do you have a plan to how, you know, redistrict or how that would happen? You know?
I think clearly, I think we need to do a little bit of study to that. You know, it's something that we'd have to decide how we drew the lines. I think what we need to do is decide what number, you know, is a reasonable number. Is 75,000 residents the reasonable number, and then we work from there.